How the Chosen One's live teaching can transform your life now. This live teaching from the Chosen One will awaken your true destiny. Watch until the end. What if I told you that within the next 10 minutes, your life could completely transform? Not through motivation, not through knowledge, but through direct spiritual experience? You're not watching just another video. You've just stepped into a rare moment. One of those once-in-a-lifetime turning points. I'm going to take you on a spiritual journey that is so intense, so personal, so otherworldly, that you'll question everything you thought you knew about yourself, your life, and the universe. I remember the exact moment it began for me. I was sitting alone in the middle of a dense, misty forest in a place no GPS could find. My thoughts were screaming at me. My heart was full of doubt. I had spent years seeking the truth, reading ancient scriptures, meditating for hours, chasing every guru I could find. But nothing worked. And that night, I had lost all hope. I whispered into the void, "If you're real, show me. I am done talking to shadows." And then it happened. A light. Not external, but within me. It didn't come gradually. It erupted like a storm in my chest. And I heard a voice. Not with my ears, but inside my entire being. It said, "You were not meant to find me in books. You were meant to find me in breath, in fire, in brokenness. Rise." What followed was the beginning of the greatest journey of my life. And now, it's your turn. In this video, I'm going to take you inside the actual live teaching of the Chosen One, the most spiritually awakened being I have ever encountered. Not a concept, not a parable, a living teacher, unlike anyone alive today. You'll see moments I couldn't explain with science. You'll hear words that pierced my soul. But most of all, you will feel something shift deep inside you. That shift, if you surrender to it, can heal years of confusion in a matter of seconds. But this isn't just storytelling. This is spiritual surgery. So breathe, listen, and prepare yourself. The journey begins with a village no map holds. A place hidden high in the Himalayan mountains. I had heard whispers of a teacher who spoke no doctrine, who wore no robe, who never recorded his teachings. They said he only spoke to those who arrived with no questions, only surrender. I didn't believe it, but I went anyway. After a week of climbing through cold wind and dangerous paths, I found the village. And there, in the center of a silent gathering, was a man who looked normal, wrinkled face, gentle eyes, sitting barefoot in the dust. Children laughed around him. Women smiled. Birds landed on his shoulder like he was part of the earth itself. And yet, when he looked at me, it was like he looked through every memory I ever had. Without words, he pointed to the stone beside him. I sat. He whispered only 3 words to begin. Unlearn to live. I didn't understand, but something in me cracked open. For the next few days, I sat in silence, watching. He never gave lectures. He told stories. He didn't answer questions. He asked better ones. And when he finally spoke directly to me, everything changed. Your suffering, he said, is not from life. It's from the war you started with life. You think life betrayed you, but you betrayed it first, by trying to control it. I felt like he had punched me in the chest. He was right. I had spent my whole life trying to bend life to my will, demanding explanations, controlling outcomes, clinging to pain that had expired decades ago. He continued, "You don't need to become enlightened. You need to remember what you were before the forgetting began." Then he gave me a task. He handed me a small mirror. "Go to the river. Stare into your reflection. And do not come back until you see what I see." I laughed. I thought this was symbolic nonsense. But when I got to the river, something unexpected happened. At first, all I saw was my face. Then I saw my regrets, my guilt, my fears. I began weeping. I felt years of pain rise like smoke from my skin. My hands trembled. And suddenly, the water began to ripple in ways that defied physics. The sky above the river dimmed. Not from clouds, but from something I still can't explain. And in the reflection, I no longer saw my face. I saw the child I used to be. And he smiled at me. I felt at my knees. That night, I returned. The chosen one didn't say a word. He looked at me, and nodded. I didn't understand it all yet. But something inside me had awakened. Something real. And then, the real teaching began. In the middle of the night, he summoned me to a small fire where others were waiting, all silent. And then, he spoke. There is a voice inside every human. Most ignore it. Others fear it. Some try to silence it. But you, tonight, you will speak with it. I didn't know what he meant. But he gave each of us a single candle, and told us, go, alone, deep into the forest, and wait. So I did. Hours passed. Nothing happened. Then suddenly, I felt a vibration in the ground, like footsteps. But there was no one around. Then, the trees began to whisper, not with wind, but with voices. Hundreds. Thousands. They spoke my name. They laughed. They cried. They reminded me of every lie I'd ever told. Every secret I'd buried. I dropped to the ground, clutching my ears. And then I heard it. A different voice. Quieter. Still. Pure. Are you done pretending? I whispered. Yes. Then silence. Suddenly, I felt warmth wrap around me, not from the candle, but from something inside my chest. A heat, a light, a peace I hadn't known since childhood. I felt free. The next morning, I returned, and the chosen one smiled. You heard it, he said. Now you must live by it. Since that day, my entire life has changed. But not because I became someone new. I became me. Now let me ask you something. Who are you beneath the mask you wear for the world? What would happen if, for just one moment, you stopped performing and started listening to that voice within you? Would you still recognize yourself? Because what I've discovered is this. You don't become powerful by adding more. You become unstoppable by subtracting everything false. And the chosen one's teaching? It's not philosophy. It's not religion. It's not belief. It's remembrance. And once you remember, the world around you begins to rearrange in your favor. Not because life owes you, but because you've finally aligned with its original rhythm. In the next segment, I'm going to show you what happened when I tested this teaching in the real world. How one silent teaching from the chosen one dismantled fear in front of hundreds. And how a supernatural encounter on a mountaintop changed the life of a broken man forever. You do not want to miss what comes next. The day fear bowed down and the sky split open, real footage you'll never forget. Let me take you back to that moment. The moment fear bowed before truth. It was 3 days after my first encounter with the Chosen One's live teaching. I had begun to feel a new stillness inside me, but I still wasn't sure if it was real, or if I had just imagined the whole thing in a haze of spiritual emotion. Doubt crept back in, whispering, "You're still the same. Nothing's changed." That's when he called me again. No words. Just a gesture. I followed him beyond the village limits, where the clouds touched the earth. We climbed for hours in silence. until we reached the edge of a cliff that overlooked an ocean of mist and sky. There were 9 of us. Strangers. Seekers. Skeptics. He sat on a stone, pointed at each of us, and simply said, "Bring your fear forward." We all looked at each other, confused. What did he mean? Then one woman, her name was Ira, stood up. Her hands shook as she whispered, "I watched my child die. I've never spoken about it, but it haunts me. Every day." Her body crumbled into sobs. Without flinching, the chosen one nodded. "Speak to him." She blinked. "He's dead." "No," he said. "He's waiting." And just like that, before our very eyes, the wind stopped, the trees stilled, and a voice echoed through the air that was not hers, not his, but familiar, childlike, soft. "Mommy, I'm okay." We froze. I swear to you, I felt something pass through me, like light wrapped in music. Ira screamed and fell to her knees, her face buried in the ground. But when she looked up, something in her had shattered, and healed at the same time. Her face glowed. I don't mean metaphorically. I mean it glowed, as if a veil had been lifted. That was the first miracle. But it didn't stop there. One by one, we began naming our fears out loud. One man feared dying alone. Another feared failing his family. I admitted that I was afraid I would never feel whole. And then, something surreal unfolded. With every fear spoken, the chosen one looked into our eyes. And each time, it was like the fear left our bodies. Some collapsed. Some screamed. Some laughed uncontrollably. It was as if he had reached into our souls and unplugged ancient wires of suffering. Then he said this: "Fear is only the echo of unlived truth. You do not need to fight it. You need to walk through it with your eyes open." And then, the sky split. No, I don't mean rain clouds parted. I mean, the literal sky above us cracked like glass in slow motion. I remember colors I've never seen before. A frequency vibrated through the mountain, through us. Not one of us spoke. We just felt it. I looked around. Ira was levitating. Another man was laughing so deeply it sounded like thunder. I couldn't move. I didn't want to move. And then, the sky sealed shut. Just like that. We sat in stillness for hours. Some said nothing. Some wept. The chosen one simply stood up, looked at us all, and said, "You are not here to be saved. You are here to awaken. And everything you need is already inside you." I cannot explain the science behind what happened that day, but I can tell you the effect it had. After descending the mountain, each of us began seeing the world differently. Not in a dreamy, floaty way, but in an ultra-real way. It was as if 1,000 layers of dust had been wiped from the mirror of life. We didn't just hear birds. We felt their language. We didn't just walk. We floated. Not with our feet but with our presence. Strangers looked at us like we were glowing. Because we were. And here's what I need you to know. This isn't fantasy. This isn't metaphor. What the chosen one awakened in us wasn't special. It wasn't reserved for mystics or saints. It was the original state of every human heart. Including yours. You see, the power of the chosen one's lived teaching isn't in the words. It's in the presence. It bypasses the mind completely. It goes straight to the soul. And the soul doesn't need to be convinced. It only needs to be remembered. One man from our group, his name was Gale, was a Wall Street executive. On the outside, he had everything: penthouse, private jet, fame. But he confessed to the chosen one that he had tried to end his life twice. The Chosen One said something to him that I will never forget. The world gave you everything, except you. And then he asked Kale to do the unthinkable, return to his empire and give away everything he didn't feel in his soul. He resisted. He argued. He cried. But 1 month later, Kale did it. He gave away his company, donated every dollar, left the city, and now, he builds schools for children who were forgotten by society. He says he has never been richer. Now I want to ask you this. What are you holding on to right now that feels like security, but is actually suffocating your spirit? A job? A belief? A version of yourself that no longer fits? What if the very thing you're clinging to is the thing that's keeping you from flying? The Chosen One's teachings demand one thing only, truth. Not performance. Not perfection. Not posturing. Just truth. And truth, as I learned, is the most liberating force in the universe. In fact, let me tell you about the moment I almost walked away from it all. One evening, I got scared. I missed home. I missed comfort. I missed the version of me that didn't feel everything so deeply. I packed my bag, ready to leave. That night, the Chosen One came to me silently and handed me a note. It said, "If you leave now, you'll still survive. But if you stay, you'll be reborn." And beneath it, in small letters, "What you seek is not peace. It's truth disguised as peace." I tore the note in half. But I stayed. That decision changed my life. Because it led to the final teaching, the one that cracked open everything. And in the next segment, I'm going to reveal what happened in the secret midnight ceremony where the Chosen One opened the Eye of Remembrance. A ritual so powerful, so ancient, it's only been performed 3 times in the last 100 years. You will witness what happened to my body, my mind, and my spirit during that ceremony. And I promise you, this final chapter will leave you speechless. The secret ceremony that opened the Eye of Remembrance, rare footage inside. It was the final night. I remember every second of it, not like a memory, but like a brand burned into my spirit. The Chosen One had said nothing all day. Not a word. We felt something building, but no one dared speak. The silence was thick with electricity, like the world itself was holding its breath. At midnight, he summoned us, all 9 of us. He led us deep into the forest, where ancient stones circled a clearing that pulsed with some kind of invisible energy. I could feel it in my teeth, my hands, my bones. In the center of the circle stood an altar carved from obsidian, etched with symbols I'd never seen before, symbols that shimmered like they were alive. The Chosen One looked at us and finally spoke. "Tonight, you will awaken what has always been sleeping within you. The Eye of Remembrance. The eye that sees beyond the lies, beyond the noise, beyond death itself." We were terrified, but ready. He asked us to remove everything we carried. Clothes, jewelry, thoughts, identities. And one by one, we stepped into the circle. He lit a single candle. Then, he touched our foreheads, each of us. And with each touch, it felt like fire and ice rushed through my skull at the same time. My body convulsed. I couldn't see. I couldn't breathe. And then, suddenly, I could see everything. Not with my eyes, with my soul. I saw every lifetime I had ever lived, every choice I had ever made. I saw my mother's pain when I was born. I saw the man I would become if I chose truth. I saw the man I would become if I chose fear. I saw that I was not one person. I was every person I had ever loved, or hated, or touched, or saved. I saw that death was not an end. It was a turning. I saw that life was not a test. It was a reminder. And then, I saw you. Yes, you. Watching this now. Your soul appeared in the vision, full of light, full of wounds, full of potential that no one had ever told you you carried. And I knew, in that moment, that part of my mission was to bring this teaching to you. Because you don't need another sermon. You don't need another 10-step plan to peace. You need one thing. Remembrance. When I came back to my body, I was sobbing. Everyone was. We had all seen different things. But we had all seen the same truth. We had never been separate from God. We had never been broken. We had simply forgotten. The Chosen One looked at us with tears in his own eyes. And he whispered, "You are the temple. You are the question. You are the answer." And then, like a dream evaporating at dawn, he vanished. Vanished. Right there, in front of us. Gone. We looked everywhere. We searched the forest, the village, the mountain. But he was no longer there. Some say he ascended. Some say he was never human at all. But I know the truth. He didn't leave. He simply became what he had always been, a voice inside us. And now, inside you. Because here's what I need you to understand. The Chosen One's lived teaching wasn't about him. It was about you realizing that you are the chosen one of your life. That the same divine presence that spoke through him lives in you. Right now. As you hear my voice. So let me ask you. Can you feel it? That stirring in your chest? That whisper in your gut? That longing you've always felt but never could name? That's not anxiety. That's your soul waking up. And this video? This isn't entertainment. This is a summons. You're not watching this by accident. Something ancient within you brought you here. Because it's time. Time to stop performing. Time to stop pretending. Time to stop postponing your power. You have spent your life searching for signs. Well, this is it. This moment. This breath. This awakening. Right now. I want you to breathe in deeply. Feel your body. Feel the weight of your pain. Your guilt. Your regrets. Now exhale. And with that exhale, let it go. All of it. You are not your past. You are not your wounds. You are not your doubts. You are the sacred remembrance of all that is holy, wrapped in flesh. You are not broken. You are breaking through. And now, I leave you with the final message the Chosen One left me. He whispered it into my ear that last night, right before he vanished. Tell them, they are the miracle. So I'm telling you now. You are the miracle. The world has waited for your awakening. And now, it has begun. Don't forget this feeling. Share it. Live it. Be it. And when the noise of the world tries to drown it out, return to this space, to this memory, to this truth. You were never meant to survive this life. You were meant to ignite it. So go. Ignite. And remember. The Chosen One lives in you. Forever. If this awakens something in you, like, comment, and share this with someone who needs it. Not for views. For souls. Let's build a movement of remembrance that shakes the world awake. This video is not the end. It's your beginning.